U.S. President Donald Trump says Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has been killed following coordinated strikes by the U.S. and Israel on Iran. Trump made the announcement on his Truth social media platform. He said bombing would continue for as long as necessary to reach peace in the Middle East. Iran has not yet reacted to Trump's statement on Khamenei's death. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the strikes killed further senior Iranian officials and that Israel will continue to hit thousands of targets in the coming days. Well, let's bring in DW's Washington correspondent, Benjamin Alvarez Gruber. Benjamin, thanks for joining us here. Donald Trump has confirmed the death of the Iranian leader. Can you tell us more?
That's right. After hours of hearing these reports from unnamed Israeli officials, we finally had the confirmation of U.S. President Trump. He called Khamenei, and I quote, one of the most evil people in history, saying that he is dead, that he was killed during these strikes that were coordinated between the United States and Israel. We saw some satellite image also of the place where Khamenei was killed, among, as we just heard there, by many senior Iranian officials too. It was a lengthy post. You just mentioned one part of it too, saying that the heavy and pinpoint bombing will continue uninterrupted throughout the week, as President Trump also called this the single greatest chance for the Iranian people to take back their country. We have not heard more from President Trump, who's currently in Mar-a-Lago. There's been a so-called lit by the press corps joining him there, but we've heard from the first U.S. official, by Mike Waltz, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. He spoke to the Security Council and told them that these strikes were lawful actions. But we can, of course, imagine not only there in the Security Council, but many countries actually criticizing these strikes, calling this an escalation in the Middle East.
Now, let's dive a little deeper into what you said there about Trump telling Iranians to take back their country. He's really told them that this is their opportunity to do so. And how much support do you think the U.S. is willing to provide the people of Iran?
The question is how long the U.S. can actually continue with this military options, with all of these fighter jets that are over there. We've seen this over the last couple of days, the arrival of the USS Gerald Ford, the world's largest aircraft carrier, with several, not just the Army and the Navy, Marine Corps also taking part in this operation. But it also depends a little bit to see back home how he will be able to defend these policies and actually what will happen next. Because now that Khamenei is out, the attention, of course, will shift to the closest, you could say, military wing, basically, to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. And that's something also that one Democratic member of Congress, the first Iranian American in Congress, also said, and I quote, dismantling the brutal regime will not be possible by only removing the Iranian supreme leader. She said that there is something more needed. Strategy is needing a real plan to support democracy in Iran, saying military force alone will not secure a democratic future. And only comparing it to other military actions that we've seen this year, many are making the comparison to Venezuela, where this military campaign and actually taking authoritarian leader Nicolas Maduro did not lead to this brutal regime actually to be dismantled.
Yeah, so let's talk more about that. And now the death of Khamenei and what that means for the situation in Iran and with the US and Israel's military campaign. I mean, will it then therefore be over sooner than anticipated, or will it become longer and more convoluted? Does the US even have capacity to follow through?
I just mentioned briefly Venezuela. Some experts are seeing that the Trump administration and the White House actually felt encouraged by these operations that they had. Some strikes with the possibility of taking out their leader completely. It was, of course, not in Iran where they killed the supreme leader of Iran. In this case, they took him back to the United States. But some thought that something similar might actually happen with a quick attack, a couple of strikes over a couple of days. But as we just heard, that by this post by the U.S. president, he said that bombing will continue throughout the week. We've seen tension increasing with reports with several countries in the region also on high alert there. But it's also, if we come back to what we're seeing here in the U.S., what we're seeing here in Washington, we can expect that we will hear more from Republicans too, and from his base as a self-proclaimed peace president who promised to end the U.S.'s never-ending wars. And we've seen him ordering strikes on a couple of countries since he returned to the White House. And we heard him only yesterday. We were at the White House South Lawn when he departed to Texas, and then he continued to Mar-a-Lago, from where he started monitoring the situation there, where he said, I prefer a diplomatic solution. But of course, following the news of the last hour, it was clear that possibly it was his intelligence or people surrounding him that said this is the moment to strike. And actually, that's what we're hearing also from reports, that they decided to push the time of the attack and not during this Operation Midnight Hammer during the night, but during the morning hours in Iran.
DW correspondent Benjamin Alvarez Gruber in Washington, thank you so much for that breakdown there. Well, let's cross over now to Niloofar Gholami from DW's Persian service. Niloofar, how are people in Iran reacting to this news? Khamenei confirmed dead.
Yeah, this is a historic moment for the people of Iran. It is fair to say that millions of Iranians from different political views and ethnic backgrounds are openly happy about his death. Despite severe internet disruptions, videos have been circulating showing people celebrating in the streets in various cities across Iran, especially after the recent bloody crackdown of protesters. They're really happy. In his more than 36 years of rule, Khamenei brought nothing but repression and always ignored the will of the Iranian people. He labeled every social and political movement as an enemy plot, and he was directly responsible for the killing of thousands of innocent Iranians. He was also the one who decided that the Iranian regime would stand by Bashar Assad, for example, in Syria. In Yemen, Khamenei supported the Houthis and caused thousands of civilian deaths in Yemen's civil war. And he was also responsible for many destabilizing activities across the Middle East that led to the deaths of thousands more. So you could even say that many people across the Middle East are happy about his death. And this could mark the beginning of a new chapter, not only for Iran, but also for the Middle East or even the whole world.
Let's talk about that. What does this mean for the future of Iran?
At least one of the biggest obstacles to any meaningful change in Iran has now been removed. Yet the pace of events is truly extraordinary, and Iran appears to be on the brink of significant changes, which makes any analysis even more difficult. We still need to understand the full scope of these attacks, how long this conflict may continue, and what the Iranian regime's next moves will be. Many have the hope that the situation doesn't spiral into instability, and they say it shouldn't turn into something like Venezuela, for example, where, for example, others from the same regime take power. The people of Iran want a truly democratic government.
And do we have any sense right now of who might emerge then as Khamenei's successor?
Yeah, there is a great deal of speculations at this point. It remains, however, unclear whether his son, Mojtaba Khamenei, has also been killed. There have been some reports that his wife was killed, claims that have been acknowledged by state media. And if that proves accurate, it would likely rule out Mojtaba Khamenei as a successor. The name of Hassan Khomeini, the grandson of Ruhollah Khomeini, has also been circulating. At the same time, there have been prior reports suggesting that Khamenei had instructed that if something happens to him, Ali Larijani should have the leadership. But interestingly, Ali Larijani's name was also mentioned this morning among senior regime figures reportedly killed. However, we need to wait for confirmation to see whether he was in fact been killed or not.
And I mean, is there really any real chance that Iranians could see genuine freedom or even some form of democracy in the future? Or are we just more likely to see chaos or simply the rise of another dictatorship like you just said there with Khamenei's successors?
Critical days and hours lie ahead. Anything could happen, but many hope this will not lead to further chaos or even harder times for the people of Iran. We have to see which direction events ultimately take and whether the people of Iran will truly have the opportunity to take the control of the situation. And I should add that unfortunately, in my opinion, the opposition missed the golden opportunity before these rapid developments unfolded. They were unable to reach a meaningful agreement on unified cooperations or, for example, form a coalition. That said, any moment can become a new starting point if there is any genuine will. But if these attacks significantly weakens the regime or even lead to the surrender of its military forces, many believe this could represent the best opportunity for the Iranian people to push for the establishment of a democratic government.
Niloofar Gholami from DW's Persian service, thank you so much for all of those insights there.
Thank you.